I grew up in Palos Verdes, which is a part of Los Angeles, California, and started surfing really early on. Like, we had a beach family. My parents took us to the beach all the time, and of course, by the time I was in 4th or 5th grade, they just left me at the beach with my boogie board, and I was boogie boarding and then surfing all the time. And my father was a lawyer, and I always admired my dad so much, and I wanted to be like him, so I went all the way through law school and actually practiced with him for a few years, but that just wasn't me. I didn't enjoy being a lawyer, and I always wanted to make a living making surfboards. That's all I ever wanted to do. Growing up in Surfing Paddleboard Cove, I had a feeling of the distant past and how the waves would break, and I saw the photos of people surfing there years before on the planks. So in my mind, I always had like a thought of finless surfing. Those guys were good surfers, and they were obviously having fun, and that's what stuck to me. Then when I saw the boards in the Bishop Museum, and again, bang, there it is. And then so I made the Alea for my 40th birthday, and Jacob Stuth took off on that 10-foot flat board, and he took off at Nationals on a little mediocre wave and went screaming across it with such speed that I just couldn't believe it, but I could because I'd seen it before in my mind over and over again. And so I just said, there's something to that. There's not even something, there is a lot to that. We gotta uncover the mysteries. I love finless surfing because when you take off on that wave, you're in it a bit earlier, and then when you get to your feet, the tail slides down and drifts, and it's just that original drift. Imagine every time you're in a car, instead of just taking out and going around a corner, you're just in the full drift, like the wheels are all skidding in every direction. Well, that's what every takeoff is like on a finless board. You just get that buzz of just in control, but a little out of control, but a bit in control, and sliding and then grabbing. It's just the best feeling. After my birthday, March 5th, 2005, I was absolutely on fire searching for the finless surfboard to remake the Alea at that point. And we started with big ones, and we shaped them and reshaped them and shaped them and reshaped them until we started with a 10-foot board, and we ended up with a little 5-foot board that I'd give away. And we just kind of went through the whole system all the way down. And it wasn't too long that we realized that shorter was easier to ride, and that anything over 7 feet was really hard to ride. And then I was so lucky because I all of a sudden was making boards for Tom Carroll, which was a buzz, and he was giving me feedback, and then David Rostovich, and he was giving me feedback. And then Rob Machado got on one, and he was stoked. And then Tom Curran got on one. And then I was working with Mike Stewart on a bellyboard version. And all of a sudden I was with all my heroes, but the feedback that you get from that quality of surfer is, that's where you really pick up your stuff. So we were very happy with the Alea and all the success and accolades that it brought, but it didn't really apply to all other surfers. They're just hard to paddle and catch a wave on, and only 2 or 3% of surfers can actually ride an Alea. So the next major challenge was to bring the Alea feeling of surfing to the masses, really. And so everybody can enjoy that stoke that you get from finless surfing. So I started with hollow plywood and hollow Polonia and all these different methods, and even surfboard foam, and I was getting there and getting the principles right, but I just wasn't hitting the mark, and I knew it. And so I went to Mark Kelly, and I said, "Oh, Mark, can you send me some EPS blanks?" No strings attached. Mark said, "Yeah." All of a sudden, 12 big, giant longboard EPS blanks show up in my yard, and I went, "Oh, hallelujah." So I just went to town on those and spent a few weeks just mastering that shape. And we've done it. It's there, and it's an Alea that everybody can surf. And we call it a tuna because it's made out of foam and thick and paddles easy, but it still has that feeling of balance and fun and exhilaration. And God, you just got to try them, because once you get that feeling, you know why surfing became so popular 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago. Why surfing is the oldest continuously practiced sport in the world. Now the tuna's made, and I'm kicking back here, we're shooting, and GSI's taken it and run with it. And for me, it seems like the end of the road, but it's so not. It's just a whole nother 3 roads have opened up. And one of those roads is the maneuvers. It's a blank palette out there for everybody. When Isaac is doing those 360 cutbacks, that's the first time it's been done in modern history. We don't have a name for it yet. And there's so many other moves that need to be ironed out and imagined and then done. And I really want to invite all the tuna riders out there to stay in contact with us and stamp your name on it. make a maneuver, make a name for it. You know, we can be creative. We have the whole shortboard revolution again. Let's enjoy it. We can just tear it up.